Hey everyone, welcome back to Secrets Unleashed. Today we're going to be talking about the other layup that for some reason a lot of point guards seem to have a hard time with, and of course we're talking about Albert's smart layup. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so this one is actually going to be a little bit shorter than other Secrets Unleashed because I want to tell you guys, to be honest, this one is going to be pretty similar to Silver Wolf. However, there are going to be some important changes. Okay? There are going to be some important changes, but they are going to be very similar to Silver Wolf on how you're actually going to stop Albert. So with that being said, let's get into how to stop Albert's smart layup. So, firstly, just like before, like with Silver Wolf, you don't want to be standing too close into Silver Wolf or too far and just, camping out the ring. You don't actually want to do that because, again, Albert can simply just smart layup from a different direction. So, you basically don't get anything. You can't contest it at all. And if you're too close, he's just going through you. And, he can actually just shoot a normal shot by then. So, yeah, you don't want to actually go too far away from Albert or get too close to him because he's just going to shoot through you, or you're just gonna go on the wrong direction and he can just smart layup on the other direction. Now, here is one of the key differences that defending Silver Wolf has with defending Albert. The difference being, with Silver Wolf, you want to be about 1.5 meters away. With Albert, you actually want to be about 2 meters away when defending his smart layup if you're playing point guard. Again, this is for blocking Albert as a point guard. You want to be about 2 meters away from actually blocking Albert. That's because Albert is smaller, so his animation actually doesn't go to the side of the rim. Instead, Albert's animation goes only to the front of the rim. He cuts it short. He doesn't go from the side of the rim. He goes to the front of the rim, even if he goes left or right. Because you can smart layup at the same spot as Silver Wolf, but because Albert is smaller, he doesn't actually go to the left or right. He's going to the front of the rim. That's why the best place to actually block Albert's smart layup is about 2 meters away from Albert. Not the same as Silver Wolf at 1.5. It has to be 2 meters away from Albert. Now, let's talk about blocking smart layup itself. So, with Silver Wolf, as I've said before, you can't go to either slightly up or slightly backwards when you're going left or right. You need to commit. Well, with Albert, it's actually pretty similar. You have to commit to left or right. You're going to want to commit there to actually give you the best chances of blocking. But with Albert, you really cannot go backwards, but you can actually go forward sometimes. It actually does help out sometimes. See, what you're going to want to do with this is to actually block Albert at the middle of his animation, just like with Silver Wolf. And because he is smaller, he is placed differently, and you can actually go forward a little bit when blocking Albert, and it's still going to be pretty effective. But again, the best way to actually block him is to just commit to left or right, but you can sometimes go slightly forward, but you can never go backwards when you're trying to block Albert. Because again, Albert doesn't go to left or right, he's going to end up in the middle or in the front of the rim, okay? He's going to end up in the front of the rim because of his small size. And now another thing different from Silver Wolf's smart layup is that with Albert, you can actually jump pretty late, and in fact, it's better to jump a little later than it is to jump early when you're trying to block his smart layup. With Silver Wolf, because of how, he's actually kind of tall in comparison to other characters, you're not able to actually block his smart layup as late. If you are using a shooting guard, you're gonna have to jump pretty early. But with Albert, because he is small, he's just a point guard, you can jump a little later than other characters. Specifically if you're using point guards. Again, this is for defending him as a point guard. If you use a point guard, you can jump pretty late and just trail Albert, okay? Or trace, I should say. Just trace Albert and jump pretty late, and you're still actually going to be able to get the block. And when it comes to positions, you know, if he uses smart layup from the front or from the wing or to the side, it's pretty much the same as Silverwolf, but with Albert's adjustments. So let's go ahead and talk about those adjustments again. Let's recap. Firstly, you don't want to actually be only 1.5 meters away from Albert. That's still way too close. You need to be about 2 meters away from Albert for you to actually be able to block his smart layup consistently. That's number one. That's different with Silverwolf, and with Albert, you need to be further back. The second one is that Silverwolf's layup cannot be blocked late, but Albert's layup can actually be blocked a little later than Silverwolf's, again, because Albert is actually smaller. The third one, Silverwolf actually goes to the side when he uses smart layup, but Albert does not. Albert always ends up in the front of the rim because he is smaller, so you don't want to back up ever when you're trying to block Albert's smart layup. And of course, finally, you can block pretty late with Albert, but you cannot do it with Silverwolf, okay? So you can still block Albert even if you are a little late. And in fact, it actually is better to block him late sometimes. So yeah, Albert's smart layup is 100% blockable by point guards, and you really shouldn't be afraid of it if you are a point guard. You can still block it pretty easily if you know what you're doing, and hopefully these tips that I did give actually helps you out. But anyways guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that it's been helpful, my video I mean. Of course, I hope that you found it somehow entertaining, and I'll catch you on the next one.